Today I am going to show you another recipe for using up your macarons or macaron shells that turned out not so great. I explored one cookie recipe already, but today I want to explore another one where I use the macaron pieces both as an addition like you would with chocolate chips or nuts or sprinkles, and then also as like a flour. So the base of this recipe is going to be an oatmeal cookie, but one portion of the dry ingredients is going to be pulverized macaron shells. This is really simple to do. You just toss your macarons into a food processor and then just pulse them until they return to their basically original almond flour-like consistency. And because I am putting this into a pretty chunky cookie, I'm not too worried about this being completely powdery. I'm okay with there being little chunks or bits in there. I am using a bit of flour and some oats, but if you did want to increase the ratio, I'm sure you could for these macaron shell pieces. Now, if you do have macarons that are a bit on the moist side, you may want to put them into your oven again and just heat them or cook them for another 5 or 8 minutes to dry them out a little bit more so it's easier to turn them into flour. Now, for the cookie part, I'm just starting off by creaming my butter and sugar just like any pretty standard cookie recipe would do. Just like with any cookie recipe, it's super important to scrape down the sides of your bowl between each step and each addition so you don't end up with weird pockets of ingredients, especially on the very bottom of the bowl. Once those two ingredients are creamed together really well, I'm adding in an egg and some milk and vanilla. I'm going to do the same thing again here, beat this mixture until everything is combined before stopping, scraping down the sides of my bowl and adding in those dry ingredients. Anytime you are working with something that has flour that you're going to put into the oven, I think it is a good idea to not overmix too much, but I also don't want to have pockets of the flour and macaron flour, so I'm going to make sure that is completely combined before I add in all my additions, the things like the nuts, the chocolate chips, extra macaron pieces, and the oats. I'm going to mix this all up one more time. Of course, if you want those macaron pieces to be in larger chunks, definitely add those in at the very end. Once everything is completely combined, I'm going to be using an ice cream scoop to help portion out all of this dough. Though if you want to just eyeball it and use your fingers, it is really easy. This is a pretty soft cookie dough, so it's actually really easy to do this just with your hands. But if you are using a cookie scoop or whether you're using your hands, just make sure to get relatively the same size dough balls, place them onto a parchment-lined baking sheet, and then get these into your refrigerator for at least 30 minutes before you put them into the oven. I flattened them out a little bit on the top. I was kind of worried about how they would bake, and I didn't want really large like dough balls, but these actually flattened really nicely and became this really thin, crispy, buttery, decadent cookie. So I do not think you need to flatten the tops before you bake unless you want to. I think they will flatten out just fine. If you wanted to add extra macaron pieces or chocolate chips or oats or anything like that to the tops of the cookies, I think that would be lovely, but not necessary, as you can see everything in there pretty well. This cookie is just chewy enough on the inside, but just lovely and crisp on the outside. And as a bonus, I got to use up a lot of my macaron shells that turned out not so great, which I have a lot of these days because of filming so many what if I do X variable for my macaron explanation videos. So I was so happy not to let any of these go into the trash. These cookies are super delicious. I hope you give them a try. I hope you love this recipe too. If you try them out, let me know in the comments below or tag me on Instagram at Maddie Brame. If you are not already subscribed, I'd love to see you here again for my future tutorials, recipes, and explanations. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Bye!